Hello book reading friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Mel, and end of year content is my personal favorite. That and beginning of year content, making all of my anticipated releases list, my yearly TBR, all of the series that I want to finish, and just updating you on what my reading plans are for the upcoming year is some of my favorite content, not only to record, but also to watch. And I have got so many different things I'm going to be uploading this month so that you guys are in the know of what my plans with my reading are for next year, because I've got so little left of my physical TBR that I definitely think it's doable. It's definitely ambitious for me, but I think it's doable for me to read this down in 2026, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see the end of my goal, and I am so freaking excited about it. So today I'm going to be chatting about the 10 books that I want to read in 2026. Everybody does different iterations of these lists. Some people do the 26 books to read in 2026, and they kind of match the year with the number of books that they want to read. At this point, a couple of years ago, I made the decision that it was unrealistic for me to do so. I am such a big mood reader. I am always changing my mind on what I want to pick up. It's so dependent on the time of year and how I'm feeling and what's happening in my life that I could not for the life of me commit to read 26 books in a single year. Just knowing that those are the definite ones I'm going to pick up is so daunting. So I think 10 is way more manageable. I still, even as I'm making this list today, and I'm very excited about reading these books, can change my mind down the line, and I definitely experienced that in 2025, where I made my 10 books to read this year, and I unhauled some of them. I ended up DNFing others. I am currently trying to finish my last 3 from that list, but the mood is so ever-changing. I'm saying today I want to read these in 2026, and next year I might be changing my tune entirely, but a girl can sincerely hope that I will be picking all of these books up next year and hopefully loving them, because they all sound so very good. If you guys make yearly TBRs, I would love to hear you guys in the comments. What are you planning to read in 2026? Are you already making plans? Do you already know what you're reading? Are you just taking it as you go? I would love to know all of that in the comments. And I want to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to today's sponsor, Ana Luisa, for partnering with the channel, because I've been working with them for years. I absolutely love their mission for sustainable fashion. They have managed to offset 100% of their carbon and water emissions, which means that you can shop all of their jewelry at an affordable price, none of those luxury markups, and you can trust that they are not only taking care of the worlds that we are in, whilst also making really incredible pieces that are going to last you a really long time, but that they're making it very accessible for you to build your own collection if you are looking to zhuzh up your outfits and your everyday. I'm a casual girly pop. If you guys watch my videos, then you'd know a t-shirt is my way to go. I love dressing down so that I can dress it up with jewelry. I've been saying this for years, and truly Ana Luisa is where it is at for me. I have gotten 2 new pieces recently, and I absolutely love them. The earrings I'm wearing right now, which are the Kayla two-tones, I absolutely fell in love with, because I don't often tend to wear silver jewelry. I'm more of a gold person myself, but I figured because it's a little 2-in-1 and the piece just looks super elaborate, dresses up the ear quite nicely, maybe I could do a little something different, and I have to say I'm obsessed with it. I also recently got the Ash double earrings, and I love these. There's just something about the 2 hoops together vibe that I am definitely in love with at the moment, so I knew these had to come home with me. So if you want to shop their holiday sale, which is one of the best of the year, you can shop up to 30% off site-wide, and if you get to $175 on your shopping cart, they'll add some free diamond studs to your order, which is absolutely incredible. So if you want to check them out, I will be leaving my link at the top of the description, or you can scan the QR code on screen to check their holiday sale. Maybe get yourself a nice little something, maybe get a loved one a nice little something. Every year my mom gets some Ana Luisa pieces for Christmas because she loves them as well, so we're both building our collections, and honestly, it's just the way to go. And now we can get into my yearly 2026 TBR. I'm so excited about this. I don't know which book I want to grab first from my physical TBR, because if you guys don't know, my dynamic is I make sure all of these books are in my physical TBR, and I did erase one of the rules I would typically hold up for myself, which is no sequels for this list. But honestly, as I reduce my physical TBR, I do have quite a bit of sequels to read through, so I figured this year I could include a couple of sequels and be totally okay with it. So don't mind me when you see those because it is absolutely necessary. I'm thinking the first thing we can talk about is actually the Kamogawa Food Detectives by Hisashi Kashiwai. This book just looks so adorable, and I love translated fiction also as audiobooks. So even though I own this physically, I might take a loan out for the audiobook from the library so that I can also listen to it. It also is a mighty short book, so I think it'd make a quick, short read that I could listen to as I am meal prepping and kind of making sure that I'm set up for the month right. If you guys watched my Gentle Read Slow Mornings vlog, an audiobook like that, which is 4 to 5 hours long, is the perfect thing to listen to as I'm getting chores done around the house. So maybe, food for thought. And I would actually make sure that that gets read because it's so much easier sometimes to listen to an audio. So I like the way I'm thinking. I'm being strategic here. I'm being resourceful. We follow a father-daughter duo who own a diner, the Kamogawa Diner, that serves very special plates to their clientele. They have very ingenious ways to come up with recipes from people's memories that end up evoking some sort of solution, resolution to something from the past, present, or future that can secure their happiness, which is why this is called Food Detectives, because that is exactly what the Kamogawas are. It sounds so different from what I would typically read, even in translated fiction. I think the concept is super unique, so I can't wait to get this read. I love, and I've talked about this before, with translated fiction, there is just a different life perspective, some wisdom and lessons that I think specifically Asian culture has that I deeply appreciate. And so whenever I go into these books, a little part of me walks out healed, maybe in ways that I didn't even know I needed healing. A lot of the time as well, it just makes me re-fall in love with reading for some reason. So I can't wait to get this read. Again, might do the audio alongside the physical as I'm getting other things done. Think it might be fun. So definitely think this one is going to get read in 2026, and I don't think I'm going to change my mind about that. Another book from the same shelf is actually A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. I recently read Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends by the same author. Absolutely loved it, and now I just have this left to read out of her newest releases. She is also putting out a new book in 2026, so I definitely want to be caught up with the backlist titles, especially one that I do own, before I even get into that one. But I am very excited about that new release. I know it's about a flight attendant. It's something along the lines of Love at First Sight, which I'm not so convinced by, but if there's anybody that can convince me though, it's definitely going to be Tia Williams. Now in this one, we follow Ricky Wilde, who is part of this really wealthy, connected, powerful Atlanta dynasty. She doesn't fit in with her family, however. If you were to look at all of them and then her, she is definitely the outlier, which is why she moves to New York with the dream of opening her own flower shop. She rents the floor above a woman's Harlem brownstone, and it is exactly there that she ends up meeting the love interest. And there's this sort of magical twist in this book about February, and specifically February 29th and leap years and the magic of those. I really don't know where the book is headed. All I know is I really want to pick this up. I really want to read it. I hope I love it as much as her past releases and that I have a good time with this, because I keep saying it about Tia Williams, and this is the type of romance book that I tend to really enjoy, are the ones that include a little bit of everything, right? The main characters are retaining their own separate lives and personalities and their vibes, but when they come together, it's really beautiful. The book doesn't sacrifice real life issues for the sake of including more smut in there. So I really do love how consistently well-rounded her characters are. So I'm hoping this book is no different. I'm hoping I love it. And 2026 is definitely gonna be the year, because this was one of my anticipated releases in 2024, and I definitely did not read it then. Now, the first sequel that I have in my 2026 TBR is going to be the Veronica Speedwell sequel, the very first sequel out of many, because I think this book has like, what, 10 different books? It's outrageous. A Perilous Undertaking. This is a series that I'm seriously intimidated by just because of the sheer amount of books in here. I know the books are rather short, but there's so many, and I've had to discover this year that even though I keep starting series, keep getting interested in series, I really am not the best. I'm making progress with series by sheer force of filming finishing series vlogs, but I'm not particularly good at it, and yet I keep getting into them. So this is going to take a whole lot out of me alongside some other series that I've also started this year. I don't know what I thought when I was starting One Piece this year, but that's a conversation for a different time. Point is, A Perilous Undertaking. I loved A Curious Beginning by Deanna Raybourn. I loved the start of the Veronica Speedwell series. I love this Sherlock Watson dynamic that Veronica and Stoker have got going on. I love that there's evidently going to be a romance between these two characters, but we're not seeing that yet. It's not inherently romantic, even though there is an acknowledgement that the two are attracted to each other, and that attraction far surpasses looks. It's more about wits and personalities and who they are as people, but they've admitted that they are not ready for that, which I do appreciate, but when we get there, it'll be oh so sweet. Now, for A Perilous Undertaking, I know we follow still Veronica Speedwell as we do, and she encounters the Curiosity Club that she goes into because she's an adventuress. That's just what she does. And when she's there, she's faced with a very outlandish proposal to save an art patron from actually being executed, which is quite wild. And she says yes because Veronica doesn't really know how to say no. And I'll assume the story goes from there. I'll assume Stoker is involved in some way, shape, or form, as he tends to be, because he'll get involved either way. And the story will be very fun. I think overall that's what shines with the series. It's like slightly outrageous and kooky, but it's the right amount to the point where you're not entirely off-put from reading it, which I do appreciate. So can't wait to get this read. Again, the banter, the vibes, Veronica's intellect and her ambition, and how decided and independent she is are all things that drew me toward the first book and really made me enjoy it. So all things I'm looking forward to in the sequel. So I can't wait. Now you'll notice that this next book I'm going to pull out is not in my TBR shelf. In fact, it is up there with my middle grades, which makes absolutely no sense. I definitely need to make some rearrangements with my shelves before the year is over or by the new year. I'm not sure when I want to do it because some of these arrangements don't quite make sense, and we definitely have got to get that fixed. However, Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I backed the Kickstarter back when the Sanderson secret projects were just announced, and I've only read one. And it was a DNF, which is the Frugal Wizard's Guide. I have not read any of the rest of them, and I really want to get into them. I was trying to toss it back and forth between what Sanderson book to include in my yearly TBR, because I'm in the middle of 3 of his series, and I still have standalones to get through. So I figured maybe one of the secret projects, make it worth my money, if you know what I mean, because it was expensive. I definitely think it could be the right choice. I also think out of all of the secret projects, Tress seemed to be the most well received. People seem to really love it. So I am quite excited about this. We obviously follow our main character, Tress, who has spent most of her life in an island collecting cups from different sailors that have come to visit. She spends her days being told stories by her friend Charlie, except that her friend Charlie is being whisked away to find a bride by his father, and she follows stowed away on a ship to make sure that I think she can stop it from happening. I'm not sure why she's going on the ship. I will assume after him. She has to find a sorceress or a magician of some kind to do this, and a touch of water means instant death or something along those lines. I'm not sure if this is just for fans of, or if this is an actual retelling of The Princess Bride, something I've never consumed and watched, believe it or not. I know, blasphemous, but I am quite excited about Tress, and I've been wanting to read it for a while. I have thought about picking it up several different times, and then I never end up doing it, which is why I really think I need to move my secret projects over here so that I can visualize them and actually have them where they belong so that I can, again, reach for them, because otherwise I don't think I will. And the copy is stunning. I will never get sick of saying that. Like, it's so pretty, the foiling, all of the different details when you actually get inside the copy, the end papers, all of the different illustrations that the book has that were put in here as part of the Kickstarter. I just think it's gonna be so freaking fun. You guys already know I kind of struggle with stories set out at sea, but I have to trust. I feel like I need to get past my fear at this point. It's been so long. I'm like, oh, I don't know about stories in the sea. I've got several books and series that are in the sea. This one, One Piece, The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. Maybe I've been lying to myself all along, and maybe I'll love it. Maybe I can gaslight myself into thinking that I'll love Adventures at Sea. I will! Now, I have a very special book on my shelves, and even though it's not my typical genre, I definitely want to read this in 2026. I tend to put at least one book in my physical yearly TBR that'll be somewhat of a challenge. Sometimes I'll do a classic, maybe a genre I'm not so familiar with. This one is historical fiction, which if you guys know anything about me, I don't tend to touch even with a 10-foot pole. It's definitely not my cup of tea. But The Great Divide by Cristina Enriquez. The reason why I say it's a special book, it's because it's by a Panamanian author, and the whole novel has behind it the theme of the construction of the Panama Canal, which I absolutely love. We follow our main character, Ala, who flocks to the Isthmus looking for work, especially as, again, a lot of people were incentivized to come here for the construction of the canal, and the story really kicks off when she encounters a young man collapsing after a grueling shift, and the story kind of kicks up from there. I don't know anything beyond the very, very base of the premise, so I am looking to get into this and see what the author has in store with this particular story, one that was filled with not only a lot of revolution, but also events that changed the course of the entire world, as well as stories that haven't really been told thoroughly, properly on an international scale. So I'm really curious to see what she's going to do with this one. I will obviously report back when I do, and I hope I love it. I really, really do. I ended up getting the physical, even though I was on the fence about reading this, because again, it's not my genre, but I saw it, and then I saw all of the different molas in the cover, and I got so excited because these are traditional indigenous molas from Panama pictured in the cover, and I thought, I just have to get this. I have to read this at some point, even though maybe my brain wants to be resistant to the idea, because what better way to use my platform than to highlight an author from my country, which has been traditionally published in the US. It doesn't happen often. I don't know about many others, so this is very, very exciting. Next up, we have got The Jesset Heir. The Jesset Heir! I had this in my fall TBR, and guess who didn't read this in the fall? I mean, fall doesn't really exist here where I live, but I had the illusion of reading certain books toward end of year, and I got sidetracked because I ended up reading Goodreads Choice Awards nominees, which was not even on the books for me. I hadn't even planned out that video, and then suddenly it's like the Goodreads Choice Awards demons possessed me, and I just ended up reading 10 different, well, not 10 different books, but I ended up finishing 8 within the video. You guys need to go watch that. That crap took almost a month of my life and all my sanity. I mean, it was fun, but it was in general a lot of time spent reading for that specific video, which I'd never really done before, which meant that a lot of my reading plans went to shit because of it. But I, again, had a good time, and I did find some really great books, and I knocked out a couple for my physical TBR, so not too shabby. I have seen this book everywhere. Everybody has got fantastic things to say. Liv actually sent me a physical copy of this book because she was like, you need to read this. You need to experience this because it is one of her favorites. So many of my patrons have read it by now. So many people have binged just the first and second book immediately because it was that good apparently, and I need to experience that. I think it's going to be the exact type of book that I love reading and that'll make me all types of giddy as I am reading it. So very excited about the prospect of this being a 5-star for me. The book establishes a world in which the Jesset Kingdom ceased to exist. Magic was outlawed, the royal family was murdered, and our main character Sylvia, which is the last descendant from that line, wants everybody to believe exactly that. She wants everybody to believe that they're entirely gone, but we know that that's not true because not only is she, the Jesset Heir, alive, but there is also an entire village full of Jasadi rebels ready to take back what is rightfully theirs. Now, what seems to be the catalyst of the story is that the Nacelle armies are actually hunting down the rebels, and in a fit of battle and rage, she ends up displaying her powers, which are supposed to be a secret. The Nacelle heir Aaron sees her, and she strikes a deal now that she has been somewhat found out, and she agrees to help him hunt down the rebels in exchange for her life. I have heard that the author really takes care to build a fantasy world, doesn't really sacrifice that for the romance, which I love it. I love it so much. And I keep saying the word sacrifice because I really do think a lot of authors are giving in to this need to please the people online and the masses with including more romance, more smut in their books, and I really respect when authors stick to their guns and they know what they want to do and they have a very clear vision and they know exactly what type of story they want to make, and they don't give in to that pressure. Again, I really respect it. I really love it. Therefore, I am hoping I love this. We are down to the last 4 books in my yearly 2026 TBR. This is so exciting. The next one is Sorcery and Small Magics by Meika Ducey. I am so excited about this one. I have heard incredible things about the magic system, the world, the characters, the romance, the rivalry, the yearning. All of those things sound super promising, and I am always down for a cozy fantasy, so this one sounds very promising as well. It is also queer, which I love. I've talked about this before. I think there's something about queerness that makes yearning so much better. Nothing hits better and different than gay, lesbian, sapphic yearning. I just freaking love it so much. So I'm very excited about this one. We, on top of that, follow rival sorcerers, which is also very fun. Academic rivals, intellectual equals is always 2 of my favorite things to read about. We follow our main character, Leo, who is a master at small magics, meaning he can easily perform simple, easy acts of magic. He can summon a butterfly with a song, he can change somebody else's hair color. All of those things come very natural to him. However, one day he is bound in magic to his academic sorcerer's rival, and they must venture out into the forest chasing rumors of a specific sorcerer that can unbind them, and they have to fight through the forest, the winds, the spirits, the monsters, their own rivalry and perceptions of each other, and they must work together to get to the bottom of Leo's magic and the full extent of what he is capable of doing before it is too late. But I'm just hoping I love this one because it sounds like something I would really enjoy. Next up, I do have a book I don't own physically yet. I do need to get myself a physical copy so that I can continue this series, because it is one of my ongoing series at the moment, and I do want to finish it. I do want to see it to the end because I have quite enjoyed my journey with them. I think this is the one exception to the typical romance that I enjoy, and these are kind of fun for me. So it is Hot House Flower by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the one installment that I've been avoiding because this is the couple I am unsure about. This is Reich Meadows and Daisy Calloway, and the reason why I've been so iffy about this one is because Daisy is the youngest sister out of the 3, and when these 2 met, she is not 18 yet. In this book, she is, but there's just something about the dynamic that I am unsure about. I am hoping that I enjoy whatever the authors do with this. We know that the story takes place while Reich is trying to perform his most ambitious hike yet. He wants to do so in the peace and quiet, but he receives a call from Daisy, who is out in Paris during Paris Fashion Week. She is a model, and she has recently encountered the reality behind the industry, especially now that she is of age. She is not as backed up by her parents, and she doesn't have her helicopter mom around her, which is probably gonna make a huge difference in this book, and she just needs somebody's help. And if there's one person who will go to Daisy's rescue immediately, it's going to be Reich. So I'm curious to see, again, their dynamic, how the authors navigate all of that. And I really want to read this book before I move on to the rest of the series, because the series is quite long. It is 10 books long, which is insane, alongside the Veronica Speedwell series, one of the longest series I am currently reading. And I've already read, that is 4 books. This would be the 5th one. So this one would put me right smack down the middle of where I need to be so that I can then read the rest of the series, read the final epilogue book thing that is ginormous, and then potentially move on to Burn Bright, which is right at the back. I have the arc of a book that already came out, because it already came out in September, but I'm not gonna read the Like Us series, I think it's called. I think I'm just gonna go right into that one. I'm not sure. Those series are too long. Why are they all 10 books a piece? I can't do all that. 2026 will also be the year that I tackle the Daevabad trilogy. And the reason why I say this is because I've had the series on my shelf for so freaking long. I am so intimidated by the series, and I know that I would love it if I just picked it up at the right time, and I need to make 2026 be that year so that I can finally figure out if I love the first book enough to continue reading the series, or if I just need to let all of it go. Because if you would peep up there, if I point the right way, you would notice that I own every single book in the series, including the novella. And if you guys know anything about me, I don't read novellas, so I don't know why I got that one, but I do own every single one of them. Went out of my way to get the UK editions. I own the UK hardback of the 3rd book, which is honestly a problem if I don't like these books, because I went incredibly out of my way to get that because it's super rare to find. So a lot's riding on this. In the City of Brass, we follow our main character, Nari, who is a con woman who doesn't believe that magic magic exists. She parades around Kaido performing these bouts of magic that are very much not real. However, in one of her many lies, she ends up summoning a Jin spirit, which is definitely not part of her skill set. And this spirit tells her that there is a city called Daevabad that she is intrinsically connected to. She obviously has no idea what this Jin is talking about, but part of her journey will be to figure out exactly what this means and exactly what lies in Daevabad that is so important and connected to her. So I'm really excited about this one. Everybody I know loves this. I don't think I know a single person who hasn't liked the Daevabad trilogy, so I seriously need to get into this next year. Every time I stare at my TBR shelf and I just see the entire series sitting there, it's like a little bit of me dies all over again at the fact that I have made no progress in the series. I haven't started it, I haven't figured out what to do with it, and I seriously need to. So 2026 will once more be the year, a very ambitious year, but we're gonna get it done. And last but not least, I did have to include a literary fiction book in here. It's one of my favorite things to include in all of my yearly TBRs, and that is Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. I really loved Cleopatra and Frankenstein when I read that a couple of years ago. I have had this book sitting on the shelves for quite a bit of time now as well, anticipating it, wanting to read it, haven't done it yet, went out of my way to get the UK edition. So I really do hope I love this one. In this book, we follow 3 different sisters. The first being Avery, who is the oldest, a straight-laced lawyer in London. Then we have Bonnie, who used to be a boxer and now is a bouncer in LA. And finally, Lucky, who is the youngest sibling living her wildest dreams and life in Paris as a model. And Nikki, which was the most beloved of the 4 sisters, mind you, I did mention there were 3, actually dies, and this death leaves the rest of the sisters reeling. And now these 3 sisters must go to New York to prevent their childhood home from being sold and learn how to fall in love with life again, as all 3 of them battle different individual struggles. We know that there's addiction and grief in the middle of it, so it's going to be really interesting to learn about all of these different sisters and how exactly they overcome all of their journeys. I again really loved the writing in Cleo and Frank, so I'm hoping this book will be no different. I love me a good literary fiction, so this is going to be one of the perfect books for me to pick up next year. Though again, I do plan, or I am hoping, to pick up every single one of these books in 2026 and finally go through the entirety of my physical TBR. So we'll see what happens. I think it's doable though. And that is all that I have got for you guys today. That is my 10 books to read in 2026 list. My 10 in 26. I am very excited about it. Very excited to tackle all of these different books in my yearly TBR next year. See what I think of them. Hopefully they'll all be highly rated, and that'll also help me make more decisions in terms of some series that I am in the middle of. So can't wait to report back on those when I do read them. If you are again planning any reads for your 2026 already, do let a girl know in the comments. If you have read any of the books I talked about today, also let a girl know in the comments. And if you reach the very end of the video, let us leave some blue emojis, maybe some blueberry emojis. I know it's not Blue Sisters, but it's something blue. So maybe some blueberries could be great if you got to the very end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and give this video a massive thumbs up if you enjoyed it. This is a great opportunity to say a massive thank you to my patrons for consistently supporting the channel. You guys are amazing. If you ever want to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon linked down below. It is always a great time. There's a book club and a Discord server and tons of live streams and just tons of fun overall that we have together, and we're always chatting books and games and cozy hobbies. So if you're ever looking for a nice cozy space to be a part of, the Citadel might just be for you. So Patreon is always there. Again, helps the channel a ton with running this thing very smoothly. So if you ever want to check that out, it's there. Once more, thank you so much to Anna Louisa for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check out their holiday sale, which again, you can shop for up to 30% site-wide. And also, if you do get to 175 in your shopping cart, those diamond studs do sound very nice. So I will be leaving my link at the top of the description, as well as the QR code, so that again, you guys can scan it, go check their website. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, for engaging, for commenting, all the things. It goes such a long way, more than I can say. I really do appreciate you guys for being here. I feel like I don't say that enough, but just know that I am tremendously grateful every single day that I get to wake up and that I get to do this, that I get to chat with you guys, connect with you about the things that we love so much, and that we get to chat about books every single time there's an upload, every single time there's a stream. There is nothing that brings me joy than to wake up every day and feel seen. So I love you guys the mostest. I don't know why I'm getting emotional today. Maybe it's the end of year. I don't know. I have been here, and I have been. So I will see you on the next one, which will be very soon. And I hope you're having a great December. Love ya. Goodbye.